There's a certain kind of pain that comes from loving someone you know you can never have. My cousin Robert stood across the room, laughing with that carefree ease that always made him the center of attention at family gatherings. He was straight, utterly unaware of the turmoil he stirred within me. The first inkling of my feelings for Robert came during a summer vacation at our grandparents' lake house. We were 17, sprawled out on the dock under a canopy of stars. He was talking about some girl he had a crush on back home, and I was supposed to be offering sage, cousinly advice. Instead, I was wrestling with the realization that I wished he were talking about me. Years passed, and my feelings didn't fade. They deepened, becoming an ache that gnawed at me during every family reunion, every shared holiday. I threw myself into my studies, my work, anything to keep my mind off the impossible. But every time I saw Robert, it was like a fresh wound, raw and aching. One Christmas Eve, after the younger cousins had gone to bed and the adults were deep in tipsy conversation, Robert and I found ourselves alone on the back porch, the cold air biting but refreshing. We were wrapped in blankets, nursing mugs of hot cocoa. He was more subdued than usual, staring out into the night with a look that seemed to mirror my own inner turmoil. "What's on your mind?" he asked, breaking the silence. His voice was soft, inviting. I hesitated, the words caught in my throat. This was my chance to tell him, but the fear of rejection, of disgust held me back. Just life, I guess. You ever feel like you're stuck, unable to move forward? Robert nodded, his eyes never leaving mine. Yeah, all the time. I think everyone does, though. Just gotta push through it, right? I sighed, my breath forming a cloud in the crisp air. Easier said than done. For a moment, we just sat there, the silence thick with unspoken words. I wanted to tell him. I needed to. But how could I risk our relationship, our bond on something that could never be? The climax came unexpectedly. Robert turned to me, his expression serious. "Listen, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about. I know you. I know when something's bothering you. You can tell me anything. You know that, right?" My heart pounded in my chest, a frantic rhythm of fear and hope. "I know," I whispered, my voice barely audible. I don't know how to say it." Robert reached out, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Just say it. Whatever it is, we'll deal with it together." Taking a deep breath, I looked into his eyes, the words finally spilling out. "Robert, I'm in love with you. I have been for years, and I know you're straight, and I know this is probably the worst thing I could ever tell you. But I can't keep pretending it doesn't hurt every time I see you." The silence that followed was suffocating. Robert's hand dropped from my shoulder, his expression unreadable. I felt like I was drowning, the weight of my confession pulling me under. Finally he spoke, his voice gentle but firm. "I don't know what to say. I love you too, but not in the way you want. You're my cousin, my best friend. I can't change who I am, and I wouldn't want to. But I don't want this to come between us. Can we find a way to move past this?" The decision was agonizing. I could either hold onto my unrequited love, letting it poison every interaction, or I could try to let go, to preserve the bond we had. I chose the latter, though it felt like ripping out a part of my soul. As the night deepened, the conversation grew softer, more introspective. Robert reached out again, this time cupping my face with a tenderness that took me by surprise. Maybe he murmured, his eyes searching mine. Maybe we just need to see what this is. Before I could respond, he kissed me. It was hesitant at first, then more certain as he felt my response. The kiss was everything I had ever dreamed of and more, a bittersweet symphony of desire and pain. We ended up spending the night together, not just physically, but emotionally. It was a night of whispered confessions and unguarded moments. The next morning, as the first light of dawn filtered through the curtains, Robert turned to me, his expression serious yet soft. I did this because I needed to understand. I needed to know if there was something more here, something I was missing. And now I do. I love you, but I can't be what you need. I wanted to give you this, to show you that your feelings are real and valid. But we have to find a way to move forward, to be who we are without losing each other. The emotional twist came as I watched Robert walk away, leaving me alone on the porch. I realized then that sometimes love isn't about getting what you want. Sometimes it's about sacrificing your own happiness for the sake of someone you care about. I had told him the truth, and while it didn't bring the resolution I had hoped for, it brought a kind of peace. A painful, bittersweet peace. In the months that followed, things were different between us, but not broken. We found a new equilibrium, a way to be close without crossing boundaries. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough. And maybe in time, the ache in my heart would heal. Until then, I held on to the hope that love in any form was worth the pain.